touch things, right? Like those sort of movements. Okay. Let me pull up my PowerPoint really quick. Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Awesome.
Sorry we missed you last week.
Oh, it's okay. We got you on reschedule. We're gonna come right back. And the studio is actually right at Restored Church, which is like
Right down the road.
just a couple of doors down. So we are good to go. I do need to hotspot really quick.
Oh, the stand is in my way.
It was Crossland. Yes, the name was changed.
What'd you say the name is?
Restored.
Restore.
Yeah.
Okay.
It changed in January. So kind of like a fresh start for the church.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need a fresh start, you know?
Right.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
So these are the vocalists, yes? All vocals, and then,
A couple of instrumentalists here with me that are hanging out.
okay, perfect. Well, hopefully you learned something. Obviously this is vocal based, but essentially I'm Cierra, and I'm Lydia's vocal coach, but so she has to put up with me every week, by choice, of course. And so essentially I'm also a worship leader, and I'm from Grove City. I went to school in Mississippi. I told the Lord I was never coming back to Ohio. I don't recommend telling the Lord you're never going to do anything, because he'll make sure it happens. And so I graduated and I came back and I started my business. And so I have a business called Arise with Cierra. It means artists reaching individual success every day. So that's the acronym for Arise. And so that's kind of what we do here. And my passion is the voice, obviously the nerd science stuff of how this thing actually works, but also because I'm also a worship leader, it's like, okay, how do these two worlds, the singing and the soul, how do they combine? So that's what I'm passionate about. It's kind of what the Lord's doing within Arise. I work with a lot of worship leaders from all over, and just like doing this thing well. And I think within churches, we have this, you can find a spiritual conference anywhere. You can find, you can send, to become a better spiritual leader or just a leadership training, but we don't often see the church sending singers or worship leaders to a vocal training. It's like, well, if I don't have my voice, I can't sing. And if I can't sing, I don't have a job. So it's like, you want me here to be, yes, a spiritual teacher and a spiritual leader, but like, what if we don't cultivate the gift well, right? And so if I don't cultivate the gift well, then I don't have the gift to be used in the kingdom, right? And so my passion is kind of stepping in that gap and saying like, okay, how can I train you to cultivate the gift well so that you have sustainability, you have efficiency, so we can do this thing well to meet all the development, because both are important, right? It's not like your voice is more important. If it becomes more important than the spiritual side, then we start to lose our humility, and we start to take the focus off God, and it comes to us of how good we're doing and what we sound like and blah, 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 blah. But my job is to say, okay, if I haven't cultivated the gift, I'm also focusing on myself, because I'm like, am I going to make it through? My voice doesn't feel great. Is this key too high? Then I still am distracted, and therefore there's still something getting in the way of Jesus being the sole focus. Does that make sense? So it's like we focus on cultivating it well. So what we're going to start with is vocal health. We're going to talk about vocal health. We're going to talk about harmonies. We're going to talk about blend. We're going to talk about sensitivity, and we're going to talk about in-ears all in, no, I pulled up the wrong church. You guys are like, we don't use in-ears. What are you talking about? Hold on.
I want them though really bad.
You have the capability to do it, but just don't do it, right?
That's pretty much how it goes, yeah.
We must be the advanced group.
We're speaking futuristically, yeah. We're getting focused.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
I want the in-ears.
I'm over here like,
Send this
what is
video
happening?
faster.
That is not what we're talking about. Okay, I pulled up the wrong one. Okay, here we go.
You gotta start over again.
Okay, hi, my name's Cierra. No, okay.
No.
Health, range, power, and then a couple of extra bonuses. And we're gonna cover all of it in the next 50 minutes. And so it might seem a little overwhelming. If you have questions, please let me know. I'd rather give you a ton of stuff than feel like I wasted your time and be like, why did we just sit here, right? So I'd rather give you too much and then you take bite-sized chunks and absorb what you can. And then I'm right down the road. If you have questions or you're like, help me understand this, I'm literally 30 seconds away. So let's talk about vocal health. Why is vocal health important? I kind of touched on it a little bit, but like, why should I even care about it?
Are you talking about in the music realm or
Just in general, like, yeah, like, why should I care if my voice, like, why should I give it the time of day? Why should I consider it?
It's a part of our body, and our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit.
Right.
We're supposed to take care of our health overall.
I agree. I'm sitting here thinking, if I had a really high voice, you'd probably laugh at me. You know? I mean, you want to sound like a human being.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't really.
Yeah. Well, and in simplest terms, like, yes, like if we're thinking biblically, our body's a temple, our bodies are always changing, and we're called to usher the body well. With the voices in the body, then therefore that's also telling us we need to usher the voice well, right? And so in that, we're also only gifted by God with one set of vocal folds. It's not like my guitar breaks, like no offense to the guitar players, but it's like, if this stops working, I could just get a new one. If my flute stops working, or my trumpet stops working, or my stick breaks, or my drum head breaks, like it's like, oh, like it's replaceable, but the voice is the one thing that's not replaceable. You know, no matter what, even within the stuff that's happening with the things you can do with the voice, like, that is just wild, it's like, you get one set of vocal folds. And so it's like, if I don't usher these things well, like, I could have permanent damage. And, you know, and there's such a negative connotation with injury, but worship leaders and worship team members are, specifically worship leaders, because they're doing it every single week, or those team members that are serving every week, they're one of the top professions or spaces that have injury. It's worship leaders and opera singers. Those are the two most injured singers. And but in opera, at least they're taking vocal training, and they have people cultivate that gift. And then in worship, it's like, well, you sing well, so here you go. Like, and you love Jesus, so clearly, like, this is for you. And it's like, okay, and even if it is for you, it might not be for long if we don't do this like well, okay? So you are gifted with one set of vocal folds. What you feel, what you do with it matters. Damage is usually done over time. This can happen with teachers who talk all day. It doesn't have to mean that you have bad technique if you're injured. I have been injured. I've been injured with a coach who was supposed to be guiding me. And so that's part of my passion of making sure health comes first with the voice and everything that I teach. Like Lydia can tell you, after every time she sings, I'm like, how does it feel? Not how did you feel it sounded? Not like, did it sound the way you want it? No. If it doesn't feel good, it doesn't sound good. Bottom line. So if you ever have a question about that, you want to constantly be cultivating, does this feel okay vocally? If it doesn't feel good, it probably doesn't sound good. Okay? And you will have those instances where it sounds really good, but it doesn't feel good. And then you have people like Adele, who it sounds really good, but she's had over 3 vocal surgeries because of how she's approached it. So it's like the vocal health has to happen. And damage can just be done over time from talking. So we have to just be careful, and there's no shame if you need to get scoped or just check it out. I get scoped every couple of years just to be like, I'm teaching people all the time. Like, I have to be okay, or else if I don't have a voice, I can't do any of this, right? So worship leading's gone, vocal stuff is gone, songwriting's gone, all of that. So how do we take care of our vocal folds? How do you take care of your vocal folds? And like, what kind of things are in your regimen, if anything?
I drink water.
Okay, hydrate.
Yes.
Lots of water.
That's about it.
Warm up.
Warm up.
Mm-hmm.
There's 6, so I can let you guess.
Gargle,
Straw phonation.
gargle.
Gargling is actually can be super, super helpful, especially if you have phlegm and stuff. Obviously, it doesn't touch the vocal folds, but if you gargle salt water, the properties of salt help absorb all of that and help break that up. So gargling is good. It's also low pressure on the vocal folds. But straw phonation is one of them, which is what we're about to do. We talked about hydration, warm up, and then one that starts with an R,
Rest.
rest.
Ah.
Steaming,
Steaming.
and then the last one is boundaries and modifications. We talk about boundaries and modifications all the time in life, of like creating boundaries and making sure that we're protecting our hearts and guarding our hearts and, you know, like protecting these things and protecting our family, and like, so we're making modifications to what we're willing to put in our time and all of this. And it's like, then it comes to our voice and we're like, I will belt it every time, or I will go, you know what I mean? And then we don't make modifications. So, number 1 is steaming. Steaming is the only way that you can hydrate the vocal folds. So essentially, when your vocal folds, or you're breathing, your vocal folds are open, because it leads to your lungs, okay? So, when I swallow, when I drink water, the water actually never touches the vocal folds, because there's this little thing called an epiglottis, and when you swallow, it covers, and so that everything goes down to your esophagus. So it doesn't touch the vocal folds. If it touches the vocal folds, you will start coughing, and that's when you say something went down the wrong pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And so people think, they're like, oh, my voice just feels so dry. Let me drink some water. And it's like, the water is touching your throat or your pharynx, but it is not touching your vocal folds. So the only way for you to actually access hydration to the vocal folds is through steam, which is a water vapor, because I'm breathing, so my vocal folds are open. Water vapor. So the water vapor is coating the vocal folds, and steam is one of the best things to do for your voice, and usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. At the end, I'll give you a link to connect with me on Instagram, but if you aren't even an Instagram person, you can still click the link in my bio, and there is an Amazon list that has the different steamers that I recommend. There's a cheap option, and it works just as good as the other one. The bougie one is just cordless, so it's, you know, whatever. So steam, steam. A lot of people don't know that the water doesn't touch your vocal folds. So if that's new to you, welcome. We all once believed that water touched our vocal folds. You are not alone. Okay, straw phonation. So what we're gonna do is, I'm sorry the water's a little warm, but I do need you to drink the water to the top of the line. The top line.